Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about something that I was speaking with a friend last week, and you know, if you're going through a transformational journey or a, an awakening in your life, you realize that, if you're anything like me, you've had those moments of feeling like you only have certain people that you can talk with because not many people are on the same wavelength, the same wave consciousness as you. And so anyway, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she's going through an awakening as well. And we were talking about different things about, I'll be honest, the one thing that triggered our conversation was we were talking about social media and being on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Pinterest and all these different things. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Pisces and we're in the ninth house and there's lots of ebbs and flows always with the Pisces, but more so probably at this time of the month. And I think that, because the fish are like direct opposite of each other, like they're always going back and forth, like that's our sign symbol, is that we're always like one way and then we flip and we're so fickle and we're another, completely the opposite, 180 degrees the next. And I think that one thing that I've recognized, anyway, what I want to talk about is regrets. But I'm trying to give you like the little backstory of it because, you're my friends and I love just chatting with you. And so that was what sparked it, because we both simultaneously, I realized that all of my friends that are on social media, because I know them, like I know all the people that have my particular signs, not all of them, but pretty much a good majority of the people that have my same astrological sign. I tend to see that there's a very similar feelings going on when maybe they'll post or something like that. And so we were just chatting about the fact that, I was feeling a couple of weeks ago like, I can't handle this stress of being on social media because it is a lot of work. And if there's so many people that make their business and make their living from social media. It's like, so is it prevalent nowadays? But I just felt like there was this sense of, I felt like my breath was being held or something, and I felt like, oh my God, I just want to escape. Like I don't want to do social media anymore. And not for any reasons except for sometimes because I am such a sensitive person, and my Piscean friends are very sensitive as well. There's really a huge tendency for us to get very overwhelmed because we have such sensitive energy. And so, we tend to get our feelings hurt, often, or if someone says something to us that makes us feel sad or something. And so we just want to flee, like swim away. That's like our main tendency, is to do that, is to swim away. And so as much as I had like intended on like leaving Instagram or whatever, and yes, I do still make my money from social media. So I think it's also the universe's way of trying to show me that I need to be very steadfast. And even though that is a huge tendency, it's only a belief system, and it's only a conditioned thing that I have done for so many years, in the way that I've dealt with problems, in the way that I deal with confrontation, the way that I deal with, people not liking me or whatever it is. If I get my feelings hurt or I'm angry, I have a tendency to not say anything, and people are very unaware that they have hurt my feelings or made me feel bad or whatever, because I have a scaled exterior. So, but here, yet again, here's the one thing that's different about all the water signs, is that a Pisces is the only water sign that doesn't have a hard shell. And so we're hugely incapable of being like prickery. You know what I mean? Like a crab can, and no offense to my cancers out there, because I get along with Cancer so well. Like my other, mutual signs, Pisces and Scorpio, I am not one to snap back. Like, a crab will pinch you, with just pure, truthful, very, very quickly snap back at you and let you know what, this is what's going down, kind of thing. And it takes a long time for a Cancer to get that way. Like, they build it up and build it up and build it up, and then they will, pinch you. Whereas, it's also the same way with a Scorpio. Like, Scorpions will be very, very, they will just snap you and just pinch you. Very defensive, like self-defensive, But anyway, a Pisces isn't like that. A Pisces doesn't have a hard shell. So we're very, very vulnerable as far as our sensitive spirits. And so our tendency is to just swim away and like, and that's when a Pisces has had enough, is because Pisces, again, they're very much like a Cancer. They will take massive amounts of abuse and ridicule and condemnation and things like that. But once a Pisces has had enough, like, it's up to here and they have had enough, you might as well forget ever even thinking that you knew that particular Pisces, because they will swim away and you will probably never speak to them again in life. And if you do, it's very seldom. They will act like you're a stranger. I mean, this is what I've always done. And it's not that I'm doing that for any particular reason, except for the fact that I have been so hurt emotionally and wounded that I can never be susceptible to that again. And so we just swim away and just, and just completely, in a sense, kind of write those people off in our lives. And it seems barbaric and it seems very, very cold-hearted. But I mean, I could say, it comes from, living in the cold water. So we're very much quick. I mean, we're the most warm-natured, sensitive souls that you will ever meet. We're the most spiritual of all the zodiacs. And so, treat Pisces very tenderly, because we don't show it a lot, but we're highly sensitive. But anyway, my whole point was, because me, you guys, I always get off the point. Was that off the point? Or maybe it wasn't so much off the point. Anyway, I'm just yakking with you. But so anyway, my girlfriend and I were talking, and I said, you know what? And so I put this post on Instagram, and if you follow me on Instagram, which is Raquel Margaret Carter, but I have a private account right now because that was the way that I didn't completely remove myself from social media. Like, I know a couple of friends that are Pisces, they've actually like deleted accounts, removed the apps from their phone, and all that kind of stuff. And I used to do that all the time. It seemed like every couple of months I would be very much like, I'm getting off, I'm changing, I'm deleting, I'm deactivating this account, whatever. And but I've recognized that I've grown and strengthened my sense of security within my own, my inner being, because even though I wanted to do that a couple of weeks ago, that I was saying, I'm going off social media or whatever, and I might not be around for a while or whatever, but I'm so fickle, and that lasted probably like one day. Whereas I know that I've grown because I put it on a private account, which has really made me feel a lot better, and which I feel is a lot better for me right now, and I'm sure that I'll get to the point where I'll be okay, and I'll be able to, gather and muster up enough energy and strength and external, confidence that I'll go back to being, on it public. But because I was getting so overwhelmed, especially with writing these children's books, and I needed to be so focused, and it was very distracting. I mean, social media, because I'm very social, Pisces are very, very social. And so we just have such big hearts. But anyway, and so, yeah, I'm like, totally sound like, oh, well, you just think you're great, Raquel. Yes, I do actually think I'm quite great, but you're just quite great too, But Yeah, so my friend and I were talking about that, and I said, I think one of the biggest things for me is that I've noticed that there's a lot of people. She wrote a post, and it kind of triggered some thoughts in my mind, and I thought, oh, I should probably do something about that. And it's about regret, and I think that that's one thing that I've overcome, and that's with social media. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but I'm always learning from contrasting moments in life along my transformational journey. And so I think that that's what I've recognized, is that putting things on social media and not regretting doing it. You know what I'm saying? Revealing too much of myself. Because I know back in before my journey began, I was very particular about, what I would share and things like that. And mind you, I'm not going to tell you gritty details, because I really don't have like those gritty details of like horrendous, contrasting moments in my life. I mean, I had that when I was a child, and and during my previous marriage and stuff. But I really, after my journey began, I don't really have massive contrasting moments in life. Now, that's not to say that I don't get upset or really like, oh, that really is bothering me or something, like I was just saying, like the whole Instagram, and that sounds kind of shallow, maybe shallow waters, talking about social media, but it was just another moment of the universe showing me that, you know what, I don't have any regrets. And so I'm not going to regret posting something like about myself that does put me out there, and it makes me very vulnerable. And I know that, oh my goodness, this so-and-so family relative has seen this video, or has seen my Instagram post or my Facebook post or whatever. And I know I'm probably going to get a call from my family or something, or they're going to have, their 2 cents to say about what I'm revealing on camera. And but I'm very well equipped with having the tools to I kind of gave you a little smirk, because I was thinking tools, how I'm always like, oh, it's the treasure chest, pearls of wisdom, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, like I know that I'm going to get those calls, and they're few and far between, because I've become very, very confident in who I am, what I think, how I believe, and no, I don't say certain things to, at the kitchen table talk, with my family around or something. Like, you learn to be very discreet about what you talk about, and around like-minded people. Because when you're going through your journey, there's millions of people not aligned, and there's, it's like the triangle. The higher you climb to the top of the pyramid, the less there is up there, in which it's really true. And you'll probably, you'll realize that along your journey, I think. But my one big, if I can just say, I think that that's one of the things that causes depression, actually, is it's a part of like regret. Like, how many times do you hear people say, oh, well, I have no regrets, but it's like, you know what, you can say things till you're blue in the face, but if you're not vibrationally sending out that frequency to the universe doesn't hear that. And so you can think you're fooling everyone. Before my transformational journey began, I thought I was fooling everyone. And maybe I was fooling some people, that are living behind, these, hidden walls or something. But I know that, sorry, I don't know, what is that? Lint or something in my mouth? But for the most part, you can't fool yourself forever. Some people desire to just live a very comfortable life and don't want to transform, and that's okay. But I think that one of the biggest things that I think in my depression, because I struggled with depression, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video, but is one of the emotions of that is having regret and feelings of like, oh, if I wouldn't have done that or whatever. And I really think it's a sense of, it's a lack of self-love. And you know, they always say, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter if you can't forgive yourself, it doesn't matter, you know. And that is really, really true. If you can't forgive yourself, and it's really not even about forgiving, you know. I mean, if you knew, and I posted this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, is that how would you feel? I mean, would that turn you on your head if you felt like you never had to ask God or Source to forgive you for things that you've done, because God never held you in judgment to begin with? That's all man-made laws that is a fear tactic to keep you submissive, you know, in the realm of this particular box, you know. And yes, I'm one to like sit here and tell you like it is, and at least tell you what I believe, because I've been in 2 religions now, and I just think I would just like to diminish the whole facade, or the whole enchilada about what religion really is, you know. And I've had so many people say, oh, well, you know, I wish I could give you a great big hug, Raquel. You know, it's like they feel sorry for me or something, as if because I've become spiritually awakened, I'm like some devil child. You know what I mean? Like, oh, her soul's gone to hell and she's going to perish, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And listen, and you know, and then when I'm going to say this next sentence, it's going to even sound, this is how Christians justify it to continue to make themselves feel comfortable, is that, oh, see, she's so far gone, because I said, no, I'm not going to go to hell. If anything, we all are released back into pure positive energy. Isn't that something? Go tell that to your neighbor down the street that's robbing and killing. Oh, we all go back to pure positive energy. Doesn't that suck for some of us? Because you know what? Half the time we're all living in this rat race of life, thinking, oh, we're climbing, we're getting somewhere. You know what I mean? And half the time, sorry to break it to you, but you know what? What if that was all an illusion and you thought that that's what it was? I mean, I don't know. I'm just not one to sit there and just shoot the shit with people and just like tell you what you want to hear. You know, I break down barriers. And so a lot of times my channel is not for a lot of people, because if you're not enlightened, or you're not on your awakening or your transformational journey, a lot of this stuff sounds like, oh my God, she's way out there, which I am. Because I don't think like the normal Joe Schmo down the street. Not that there's anything wrong with Joe Schmo down the street, but I'm just saying that there's a lot less enlightened people in this world than there are that are going by the, you know, the monotony of the minutia out there. Is that they're just like blinders on, you know, like, oh, let me just put my head down and just keep the blinders on. And it's like, you know what? I can't live like that. I lived like that for, what, 30-something years? I would have rather blown my brains out than have to continue to live like that. I couldn't do it. I could not do it anymore. And so, anyway, that went from regret to depression to religion. I don't even know where I was going with that. Well, anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next video. See ya later.